Yeah, 400 by 700. So if you guys can, when making your pages, like I'll try to follow like this layout so it's consistent.
Is it
And
400 a little bit too big? I think like most of the phone layout was like 320
I
to
mean, yeah, we
50.
could try that too, but it's like different screens. There's like iPhone 11X, whatever. I don't think we like, let's see what 300 looks like. Okay, yeah.
I think
I
most
think,
yeah, I think most of the phone was like between 320 to like 350. But I mean it
um,
doesn't really matter.
yeah, I don't think it matters because this is only an MVP. Like, we're not going to put this on the App Store immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, so in terms of transitioning and stuff, like transitioning to different pages. For example, I made a sample menu here. I made it a floating, basically a floating group. So what happens is if you press this, like basically what we want to do is to add actions. So you want to go to the workflow, and then you see there is a when the material icon is clicked. So basically when that like chat button was clicked, we can get like it's a transition. We can here navigation, go to page this, and then the same thing with this. So based on the Figma design right here, what like based on this one, what I did was back here I try to mimic something like this. So basically what you do is like in preview you can see the data is populated based on our data. I added two sample data, and then
Uh-huh.
basically what I want to do with the function is I click on this, it leads me to that post. And since we don't have a post page yet, so it is just what it is right now. Yeah, and that leads me to sort of like another thing to do. Another very important thing is using groups in our design, so it's very easy to to keep everything organized. For example, this one is a repeating group. That's what I made. And in order to, so basically, when you just make a group, it's a little bit confusing because you won't be able to to style it. So what you want to do is you want to remove the style, and then this is where you can like customize what you do. So you can see you can make the roundness a little bit like 5. You can make it solid border as well, and you can change the color to, let's say, like anything like that. So that's basically how you modify a group. And anything when you make a group, you want to drag stuff into it. For example, like you have a text box, you can make it into this. If you have a button, you can put this in. You can put the
Evan,
button.
I'm sorry, but can you record this? Because I don't think I'll remember.
I'm already recording it.
Oh, you are? Nice.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. We can send that to Olivia afterwards too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically the point of a group is just to keep everything organized. So like for example, if we want to move something, like we don't have to move everything individually. We can just move all at once. And a good way to like utilize group, I think, is obviously this like for post is a great way to utilize groups. And like when I tap in a single post, when we want to display a singular group, I think that's very good as well. And even this as well, like the chat feature, we can use repeating groups as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I think that's most of the stuff that we have to utilize in terms of design. And then another big piece is just data. And for data, as you can see, we have two types of data right now. That I obviously we're gonna have more, but I've just created post and user, right? User is the default one, so we can always create new fields. So, for example, we have email, modify date, create date, slug. These are the default fields. If you want to create a like field, for example, like friends, and field type would be, you can choose different field types. And in our case, I think text, probably start with text, because I'm not sure how user works yet, because this is only an MVP, it's for demonstration purposes. So I think we can use text for now. And that's basically just an example how to create a field. And what I did to create like the home page, like obviously it's not finished yet, but it's just for demonstration purposes, is I created the post data type with fields such as comment, title, and also how we want to add data is basically we go in our app data, and this is where I inputted all the app data. So recommended post, hot post. And if you want to do a new entry, just press on this and basically like, I don't know, anything. You don't have to put in all the fields. So that's how we create our data for demonstration purposes. And yeah, so those are the two big pieces in terms of design and data. And I think the final thing is how to link design and data together. And to do that, we have to go back to design. as you can see right here, the repeating group I created. What I did right here is the type of content is where you input the type of data you want. So we have user and post. And post is one we created. And the data source, we have to search for post. And when you press search for post, what it does is searching in your in your data, like in your app data. So this is where you link the data and your design together. And once you do search for post, or you can do search for anything, like you can do search for user, or like, I don't know, search for groups once we have like chat groups, stuff like that. And you just want to do type post, sort by, you can sort by, obviously when we have different type of posts, we can have sort by types of posts. We can create all these custom data field. And yeah, so basically I think these are the main things that we need to know in terms of creating a single page. At least that's everything I can think of right now. We obviously haven't created everything, so I think we'll run into more issues when creating this stuff, and we can solve those together if they come up.
Okay.
All right, so in terms of Figma, I was trying to look for, because we need to divide up the workload in order to do this the most efficient way. We have around a week left, and we have login, planner, homepage. So what I like to see is to have like everything done in Figma first. So it's very easy for us to just like finish it, because what I basically did with this, like, even though it looks very blocky, it's not aesthetic whatsoever, but the basic functionality is there. All I did was just copy the Figma design.
So
Right, so
you also
yeah.
want the calendar and login page to be also in Figma, right?
Right, so yeah. So let's see, we have login, we have homepage. How many more pages do we have left? We have the calendar, obviously. And we need the chat. We have the chat right here, which is fine.
Yeah, that's the chat. So
Right.
the upper half is like your personal chat, like one-to-one, and then lower, like the other half is like group chats.
Group chats, okay. Okay, so how about this then? I think I can get start working on these, because actually there are some templates for like how chat rooms work, but I think that's I'm gonna try to find some way to implement this, and then this is very easy to implement as well, so we'll see about that. And then you and Shannon can finish the leftover pages in Figma, like the ones that we don't have sketched out. Yeah, and once that's done, you can let us know, and you guys can work on the remaining ones with Olivia as well. So for now, I think just I'll tell Olivia to obviously work on the login page and to familiarize herself with the basically with the Bubble app.
Okay. So I'll try to get done like as soon as possible with the Figma, and then like
Okay.
try to join the Bubble right away. But
Yeah, okay, sounds good. How about we have like a check-in on Monday to just to see where everyone's at.
okay.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. So you have the recording, right?
Yeah, I do. I'll post a link on the chat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, besides that, honestly, I think the most, like, the urgent thing we have to do is finish the functionality. So don't worry about how it looks so far. That can always like come later, because the functionalities is what matters the most in terms of like obviously like demonstration deliverable purposes.
Okay.
So what is your roadmap? What's the timeline that you think like certain tasks will be done by? How do you want to distribute them?
Um, well, like basically what I want to see happen is that you and Henry finish the remaining sketches like pretty much by Monday in Figma. and then while I work on the bubble for what we already have. And then once that's done, so we have a check-in on Monday, and then so basically we have by Monday we would have around 4 to 5 days left, and by Monday everyone just put the Figma design into Bubble.
Okay. But do you think that that's enough? Because we finished like, how long did it take you to create this?
Like this, once I knew what I was doing, like after all the YouTube videos and stuff, took me 15
Mm.
minutes. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think
Mm.
it's easier now because I figured out like how like how basically how it works. So
Mhm.
if you guys run into anything, because you guys won't be working with Figma first. So and I'll be working in Bubble as well. So if there more problems come up, I'll solve them firsthand. So basically when you guys transition to Bubble, I'll probably have answers to most of your questions so we can move on very smoothly from there. So it actually won't take long.
Okay. And what's the main reason that we need to have a separate design in Figma when we already have them drawn out? And why can't we do it like directly on Bubble?
Okay, so first of all, I mean, if you guys have it drawn out, I think that's fine as well. But what we had drawn out is pretty, like, I haven't seen those mainly. I don't think a lot of stuff weren't shared. If you guys want to do it on paper, that's fine too. But the main thing of having like a sketch and like actually implementing it is just it's way easier to like. There's a lot of more things to keep track of in Bubble. It's just way easier to like do it while having a reference.
Uh,
I mean, if you want to do it directly in Bubble as well, you can. Like, be my guest. I don't have any problems against that. Just personally, for me, it's easier. But since I won't be doing like whatever is not sketched out yet, since I already have the sketches that I need in order to implement like my part, like if you and Henry want to just go straight into Bubble, that's completely fine as well.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really up to you guys.
Because you are not like you think that all of us would have to work like finish like one page on Bubble, right? Because it's a
Yeah,
lot of work.
yeah.
And I'm just concerned that will be wasting time on Figma because already we're not as adept on Bubble as you are, and it's gonna take longer to adapt to that tool. And I think like if you could kind of like help us adapt to Bubble and use it, then I don't know. Like Henry, what do you think? Because I think that we could just like easily sketch it out better because we already have the sketch like on paper and then do it straight on Bubble.
Yeah,
Because Figma was taking a lot of time, right?
yeah. I guess like maybe like detailed sketch on the paper might be like faster. I guess like
Yeah,
save some
no,
time.
okay, yeah. Like I said, it's up to you guys. I don't really care it's in Figma or in paper. It's just like for me personally, it's easier to see something like this and then implement in Bubble because Bubble is not meant for like sketching like Figma. So it's not as easy to like draw everything as Figma is. But
Hmm.
yeah, like on paper, I think definitely works as well. But like I haven't seen the paper design yet, but that doesn't really matter because I already have the visuals of all of this. So if you guys think it's easier to draw on paper and just directly put it in Bubble, and I think that's fine. In terms
Okay.
of helping you guys getting adept to Bubble, like could you specify like how do you expect me to like what do you want me to like give you an example, like walk you through like a page or something like that?
Like the design, I'm not sure. Do you know how to? Are we going to? We're going to present the Bubble, right? Not the Figma for
Yeah, we're going to
MVP,
present the Bubble.
right? So how do we create like a Bubble page that actually looks like the Figma page right now?
Um, well, okay, so all you gotta do is
Aesthetic-wise.
yeah, like you said, so well, yeah, sort of like what I mentioned, like the best way is to change the page's dimension to mimic like what a phone screen will look like, but it doesn't have to be perfect because it's only like a demonstration. So I think right now the dimension I have is 400 by 700. So all you have to do for a different page to mimic what the Figma looks like is make a new page. For example, like if I want to make like chats, right? And then I create that page. And when it just starts, you can see the dimension is not that. So what you want to do is you want to tap into, you want to try to edit it. So the layout is 400 by 700. So it approximately looks like a phone screen. And then once you do that, depending on what you're doing, you can add different things. Like for example, I'm doing chats, right? So I can add a repeating group, for example, like this. And this is where all your friends go. And if you want to add a text for that, you just drag it, basically drag and drop, say like friends. And because it's a repeating group, everything will just mimic it. And then there's obviously like, I don't know everything on Bubble, and I'm exploring as I am like, I'm learning as I'm like trying to build stuff. So I've only found out about like repeating group like yesterday when I was looking for the best way to build, to mimic like this part, the post part of Figma. So I think a lot of things are just like, the only way of being adept is sort of just poking around by yourself. And I think the main thing that's going to make it easier for us is basically just how to set it up. For example, making the page dimensions, putting groups in, and also like knowing what where the data is and how to enter the data.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so unlike if you want to do it, they're like in Bubble, that's I think that's completely fine. There's and if you run into any issue, like you can ask me or you can Google it. Sometimes Google is like not really good in terms of getting through. But if I can help you, I'll definitely like try to type up a response.
Okay. So you are working on which ones?
I'm
And
working
we are
on
working on which ones?
basically working on whatever like everything that's on this page.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
from the homepage to the chat to individual chats when you press inside the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Then I could try to do the calendar planner or the shared planners. And I think that's the only two additional ones, right? Or the grade, yeah, the calendar one with the grade calculator and the friends planners. They're all gonna be on the same page. So then Henry and I can work on that maybe.
And for Olivia, I'll just yeah, I'll tell Olivia to like just basically change how like make the things look as good as best as possible before I'm able to like obviously help her like learn the setup. Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
talk to Olivia, don't worry about it. I'll like she has like I have some stuff in mind that she can do.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so check back in on Monday then.
Yep, sure.
What time do you guys want to meet?
I'm free all day.
I think around the same time works well for me.
Yeah, okay. 1 p.m.
Mm.
here time, so like probably 3 or 4 there.
All right then.
All right, I'll send you guys an invite and see you on Monday. Henry, we can like either stay here or and work on it if you want.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right, see
Right.
you
Thank you,
later.
Evan, and thank you, Henry. Haha.